Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Janet Yung, and in my channel I share about Feng Shui, Bazi, entrepreneurship as well as personal growth, especially in the areas of motivation, success and communication. In today's episode, it will be a continuation on the series of what I've been sharing about the 2022 Young Water Tiger influence on those born on the various different day elements. And for the last two episodes, I've already covered for those born on the day of wood as well as the day of fire. And if you've missed those episodes, please remember to go down to the video description and click on those videos. Now, just a recap in case you are new to my channel and this is the first time you're watching my video. What I'm looking at for this year's influence is really the kind of skill sets that you need to build in the longer term towards your long-term goal. If you're familiar with Bazi, we know that we have our natal chart. On top of that, we have our 10-year luck cycle, and on an annual basis, there will be influences as well. So the key is understanding where you want to go in the longer term. That's what will build your long-term happiness and fulfillment, which I talked a lot about in my channel. And on a 10-year luck basis as well as an annual basis, it's basically the small milestones in terms of skill sets that you need to build to work towards your long-term goal, especially in today's era where people are looking at building multiple streams of income so that they do not rely on one single skill set, one single income stream in order to have that long-term stability and growth. So without further ado, let's move on to the next segment, where I will share with you the influences for this new year for those born on the day of Earth element. Hello, welcome to this segment where I will share more about the influences for this year for those born on the day of Earth. So if it's the first time on my channel and you do not know your Bazi and the day that you are born, you can go to this link here, bazicalculator.janetyong.com, or scan this QR code to get your Bazi chart. And what we are looking at is the day element that is circled here in red under the day pillar on what are the influences on this particular day. And for this week, we are going to share for those born on the day of Earth. And what is it we are looking at? We are basically looking at the young water tiger year, meaning the young water element and the young wood element, which is the predominant elements for this year, the influence on the person's day, and therefore the kind of skill sets that they need to pick up from an orientation or structure perspective if you are looking at it from a traditional Bazi perspective. Now, for those born on the day of young Earth, in the first half of the year, you will be having the influence of that of action orientation, and specifically it is actually the pioneer profile itself. Now in Chinese, pioneer means 偏才, and to a lot of people in the old days when they look at a Bazi chart, they will feel that this is a year where they will receive heaven luck wealth, meaning maybe money from lottery, 4D, Toto in Singapore, lucky draw gifts, or a gift from someone. But if you were to look at the characteristics actually of pioneer profile, it is really about risk taking. That's why you are willing to place the bets. But the risk taking is not limited to that of basically lottery ticket luck. It is really more about whether you have the risk appetite to take on new businesses, expand your business role. Therefore, a lot of people who are going through the pioneer profile influence will usually maybe go into business development, or they may have the impetus to start a new business. Therefore, if you have been thinking about starting the additional side gig, building that additional stream of income so that you do not rely on one, this is a good year to go on it. However, if this profile is of a very high influence, that means highlighted in red in your career profiling report, then be a little bit careful such that you do not rush into certain decisions and do not take calculated risks when starting this new business stream or taking on additional responsibilities. In the second half of the year, that's when, if you get into a lot of impulsive decision making, because the second half year's influence is that of the warrior profile under the process orientation or influence structure. as the name suggests. It will be solving problems, overcoming obstacles, and fighting wars. So if you did not take calculated risks in the first half of the year, then you will be in for an uphill battle in the second half. However, if you tweak your mindset and understand that once you decide to start a new business, of course, the first few years of building that particular business is really handling multiple projects, solving different problems and obstacles. Because if you have to have passive income in the long term, hard work comes beforehand. So this is what you need to set your mind up to, and you will definitely do well for the new year. And for those born on the day of Yin Earth, the first half of the year, the influence is that of the director profile, or in Chinese we call it 正财. And for those of you looking for new responsibilities, congratulations. This is another element that if my client asks me, will there be an opportunity for them to have a new job role, increase in their salary, increase in regular income, it will be those born on the day of Yin Earth, because director profile is that of regular income or 正财 in Chinese Bazi terminology. Now, the director profile is really about slow and steady progress in terms of taking action. Compare that to pioneer profile, which is that of young Earth. So therefore, from a director profile influence perspective, you will be a bit more conservative. If you are looking at improvement in wealth, with these profile influence, it's more of the slow and steady kind, either in terms of value investing, okay, in a very safe company, or one that provides a regular dividend back to you. So that's what it means by the profile influence. So skill sets to pick up will usually be covered if you were to get my 2022 personalized annual report, which I'll leave the links down below as well. What about the second half influence? The second half influence is that of diplomat, or the process orientation. Now, in terms of Chinese traditional terms, it's called 正官. What it generally means could be from the perspective of getting recognition, understanding the roles and responsibilities that you are supposed to undertake. So therefore, for those born on the day of Yin Earth, unless you are already born in the months where your profile shows that the director profile or the diplomat profile is already at its extreme, meaning highlighted in red, it's critical for you then to manage basically the negative perception associated with those profiles, which I covered in my Asian personality profiling series. If you have not watched it, please click on this link and watch the series itself. Now, this, as I mentioned earlier on, is the annual influence. It only governs for the year 2022. Therefore, it is crucial for you to take a look at these profile skill sets and see how it will stack up for you in the longer term to build your base profile. If you remember, I covered in an earlier episode that my profile in terms of base profile is that of the leader. Now, to become a leader, to be able to influence other people, I need to build my profile in terms of recognition and in terms of starting new business, as well as going through the different cycles. So I've gone through pioneer profile, picking up business skill sets, learning how to start up the business, learning how to do multiple streams of income. And what I did was basically to follow my 10-year luck pillar influence, as well as my annual influences, to pick up the relevant skill sets so that I can move forward and do what I love to do nowadays. So I hope that this particular session has helped you. If you like to know more of what I share in the episode about how I stacked up my 10-year luck pillars and all those, you can refer to this link. I've also got other videos where I share about how you can build multiple streams of income. I'll include the video description links below as well. Now, if you are curious and you would really like to know your base profile, do get the complete Bazi career profiling report. Or if you already have that and you just want to know this year what are the influences, how you can basically pick up those influences in terms of skill sets, and how does it move along with your 10-year luck pillar and your base profile. I've also created the new report on the 2022 annual blueprint report for success, which has been requested quite often since the end of last year. I look forward to seeing you next week, where I'll share with you what are the skill sets that one should build for those born on the day of the metal element. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.